What's going on, you guys? It's Gaming Addict here. So I'm going to break down all the trailers from Final Fantasy VII. The reason I'm going to do this is because a lot of people, including myself, were really skeptical on what could they possibly do with Midgar. Midgar was only a couple hours of Final Fantasy VII, and they're supposed to do an entire game there. And this looks like this game, Final Fantasy VII Remake, is supposed to be broke up into two to three different games. So I want to break up and really go into these trailers, find out what was. I've watched them all maybe once or twice, but I never really paid attention to anything. Find out, exactly what's in the original games or what's not. Obviously, we've seen certain things. So let's go ahead and get into this. The return draws closer. This is the very opening cutscene.
Halt! Hands up!
Have fun.
Here's one thing: is Barrett's group, the Avalanche. It looks like Square Enix is gonna build on that tremendously from exactly what was in the original one. They were built in from the original one, but it was mainly about the relationship between Barrett and Cloud, and they didn't really go into anyone else to a good point. There are times where you have dialogue with everyone, but it's not really to a huge extent.
I'm here for you to help take the load.
Now, right there, that part there.
Have fun.
I'm here.
Obviously with the time going on up here, this is during the very first reactor where he sets off that timer, and you have to escape in that certain amount. Now, we've already seen that the boss fight is way more in depth than it was in the original one. So I want to go ahead and point that out, that this boss fight, it's not just, slide. I mean, he was getting on the walls. It was way more in depth boss fight than any of the Final Fantasies, really. And if you could take that consideration, imagine what they'll do with bigger bosses that go out through the game, like the weapons, Sephiroth when you fight him, Genova. So right there, you could see a huge increase on what they're going to do with this fighting system.
For you to help take the load off your shoulders.
So, what's our next move, boss?
That's easy enough.
Are you okay?
I'm fine.
That's another thing I want to point out too is, we're not dealing with text dialogue anymore. What we're dealing with more of here is we're dealing with, more voice, obviously, because obviously we're in 2019. So these cutscenes are going to be more immersive. They're going to be way bigger than, their two, whenever, 1997, I think 7 came out. I'm pretty sure one of you are going to correct me in the comment section, but we're going to get more in depth, more immersive, and these cutscenes are probably going to be way longer with more detail.
Here.
There's the
This is for
flower.
A flower?
I don't know what that is. Then that's another thing you got to realize too is they're not going with your average turn-based RPG where you take the turn, your opponents take a turn. That's strategic. They're going more with the live-action one that Final Fantasy does a lot. They did it in 15, they did it in 13, and they started doing it in 12. Now this one looks like a mixture between all three of those. I don't know exactly what they're going to do with the mixture. I know there's material in the game, but as far as that, I don't know what else they're doing with this fighting style. But you got to keep that in mind too, that these creatures are probably going to take longer to kill, so it's going to extend the game just there. If that's good or bad, I don't know. We'll have to find that out when the game comes out. There's that boss I was talking about.
Can you bear to see the planet suffer, Cloud?
Now here is interesting.
Can you bear to see the planet suffer, Cloud?
Alright, so Sephiroth is right there. To my knowledge, Cloud really never had any kind of illusions or anything related to this in the original games. He did see certain things, and there are twists and stuff that's in the game. But as far as the first part in Midgar, he talked about Sephiroth, but he never really saw him until he saw him as an illusion. Now, clearly, what's going on here is they're really picking up on Sephiroth at the beginning, because that's going to sell the game, because to my knowledge, you didn't even see Sephiroth till after Midgar, if I remember correctly from the original. Alright, so there's the first one. That's the Final Fantasy VII Remake teaser trailer. That came out right before E3. Alright, now let's go into this one. This is the E3 trailer they showed at I think it was Sony. I think it said Sony. No, it's just the one they showed at their own conference. Oh yeah, Sony wasn't at E3. I forgot about that. See, now look how detailed Midgar looks. I'm kind of curious if they're going to let us go to these sections of the map, more of the sectors, and not just the one that Baird and them was in. Midgar looks amazing.
These sewer rats appear to call themselves Avalanche, sir.
And once again, like I said, they're going more into detail. They're having that immersion with these newer cutscenes that's going from transition from the original to this new remake. Now, this happens right after you leave Midgar, so this should be towards the end of this game. Now, it is kind of interesting that there's a chick on her back, so maybe this isn't at the end. So I'm kind of curious what that's about. I don't remember if anyone was on the back of Cloud's on the Cloud's bike when he came off of the Midgar mansion. I'll have to go look that up later.
You can have it for saving my life.
That never happened either. To my knowledge, she never gave her material. She might have right after the original thing that happened with escaping the reactor. Now it looks like there's a little open, I wouldn't say open world, like hub world is what I would probably call this.
You think he's a keeper?
Now this happened before Cloud busted in that train after they thought they left him in that town. That he fought all those people and he jumped on the top of the train. Yeah, see Cloud.
Y'all gotta look at the bigger picture here. Nothing worth fighting.
Once again, it's like I said, they're really building on these immersions. I think that's how they're really going to sell this game. Is they're going to tell you the story a different way than they told the story when they couldn't tell it this way.
Fighting for was ever won.
You could see the material in the Buster Blade.
Y'all
That's
gotta
cool.
look at the bigger picture here.
It's a green one.
Nothing worth fighting for
I think
was
that's
ever won
Restoration.
without sacrifice.
Here.
Help me!
Now the interesting thing is, to my knowledge, these little figures here wasn't in Final Fantasy. I don't know what that's about, but it's kind of curious. Some of the limit breaks. Now, this is the first time you've seen Tifa in Maryland. I think that's what her name is, how it's pronounced.
Have you been a good girl?
See, that happened in the original when he picked her up and went into the bar. This happened
I heard
too.
you're having second
But you got to
thoughts.
keep in mind, this is going to be so much more immersive. You're going to enjoy
I know
this
we
story
have to
way
think
more
big
than you
if
did
we're
in the
going to
original
make a
one.
difference. But not like this. I feel trapped.
Now, to my knowledge, this never happened. I think this is when you were in that second ship going to the second mission, and they kept doing that that security check from room to room, if you guys remember. I don't remember you fighting stuff. So this is completely new.
My turn.
Oh, that looked cool. This never happened either. You know, they're going more of a story narrative focus. So that's really interesting.
Get going.
Okay.
That might be in the sewer. When you fell out of the sewer after you do that part. That's how the Shinron mansion looks. There's that bike he takes. So this is pretty much him going through the mansion on his way to the top. I don't know what that came from. I think that's the sewer. It's gotta be.
Got you now. Huh?
There's that thing he fights when they leave the second reactor, and Cloud falls into the slums. So like I said, look, he never went out like this. Like it was a stationary fight. It looks like, you know, there's phases to these fights, and I'm really anticipating that. Once again, Cloud did not see Sephiroth before Midgard, before they left Midgard.
You're not real. You're...
Cloud, I have a favor to ask of you. Run away. You have to leave. You have to live.
You bastard! Yeah!
Hold on to that hatred.
So there's the one that they showed at E3. Nothing but pre-order bonuses happening after that. Here's the one that was shown today. No, I don't think this was shown today. September 11th. Yes, it was shown today.
16.
Now this one's interesting. There's the Buster Sword.
Quickly.
Now it's kind of cool. He has two. Whoa, that was a complete.
He's 16.
He's got two materials in his plate this time.
Cloud, quickly.
Once again, these ghost things was not in the original game. I have no clue what they are.
Give me a break.
Jesse, Barrett.
Where you been?
Let's lay down some rubber.
Crank that throttle!
Okay, you got it.
Who's that?
A soldier.
Once again, this is a big thing that's crazy.
Can't.
Oh my god, I keep...
A soldier.
There is someone from Soldier here that is crazy. Because, to my knowledge, the only soldiers they really talk about in this game is they talk about the people from Crisis Core. Then they talk about Sephiroth. Cloud was never in Soldier. And they talk about Zack. But besides that, no one has ever been mentioned that's in Soldier. So this is a completely new character, you guys. Completely new. What they do with this dude, I have no clue. He might chase you through the whole game. He might be a hidden party member that you could recruit later on down the game because he's entirely new. So this means right here that they're taking the foundation of Final Fantasy VII, but they're not doing it rock for rock. They're going to fix everything and adapt to how they would want the story to be now.
Can't say this is quite what I had in mind when I asked for your help way back when.
He seems to be hallucinating
Feels like we're
Sephiroth a
flying
lot.
high.
This never happened in Final Fantasy. You never did anything like this. This is kind of interesting.
These days.
Now,
What's funny is
more
that's
than
the
ever.
train
He's a keeper, all
rack
right.
that you went in.
Yeah.
And there's two of them, so you know that.
Thanks.
All right, so this did happen when he fell in the slums. They did show up and they talked here,
And who are you? Now it's my turn.
but they never. Reno and Cloud never engaged here. There's that famous thing where he goes through the flowers and he tells the soldiers to go around the flowers, and then you fight the soldiers in there by either knocking the barrels down or fighting him individually.
Hello, Aerith.
What do you want?
Now I feel like this is when he's running from them. Once again, you don't fight them here, but it's
Wait a
looking
minute.
like you might fight them here.
Those eyes.
Now this is that part where he goes into the dude that is pretty much trying to buy him a slave for sex. This is that part where you have to fight. I don't know what they're gonna do here in terms of the game because they can go a different couple ways.
Corneo's got certain tastes.
Don't be shy, little kitten. Shimmy on over and give Daddy some sugar.
It'll be fine, right? After you.
This is when Tess takes them before
You led us on a merry chase.
they destroy the tower. This is the tower part.
Got your little fort right here.
Now here's the mini game. It's kind of interesting. Tiff is in this, because I don't remember. Maybe this is after you do the Cornell thing. Tifa was not available when you were getting this stuff and you're having these mini games, and Tifa never would have been part of the mini game. So it's kind of interesting that she can do these too. Frog looks pretty good on it.
President Shinra.
There's a hologram that was never in Final Fantasy VII.
Mutai, the hell we are! You still don't understand your role in this.
There's Ifrit. Looks like they're giving them a lot more of a personality now. They can do voices. Shiva. Now this never really happened either. When you going up the stairs, you literally just went up fighting random battles. So it's kind of weird that it looks like a cutscene. So you know, they're going to expand this particular event in Final Fantasy VII a little bit more.
Cloud!
And that never happened either. Interesting part is it looks like they're on top of that tower that was destroyed. In the actual Final Fantasy VII, this entire thing got collapsed like it is now, because you see up here where it's not on the same level. It got collapsed, but they never came back here, ever. So it's kind of interesting that they're here in the first place. So there it is. I think it's very possible that they can make 3 different games. People don't realize how long 7 was and how hard it would be to make that much material into one game. Now, I am a little disappointed that they're only going to Midgar. I feel like 2 games would be fine. You know, they end it where Sephiroth is revived. But anyway, you know, tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. That's my personal opinion on what's going on here. But anyway, this is Gaming Addict. I'm out of here. Peace.